I never intended to stop in Willow's End. A forgotten little town hidden between two mountain valleys that always looked as if it was exhaling mist straight from its bones. But when my car sputtered and died at the edge of the old forest road, I felt something I hadn't felt in years, a pull, a gentle but unmistakable tug beneath my ribs, as if someone were whispering my name from just beyond the tree line. And even though the wind was cold and the trees swayed with the subtle groan of old wood, there was no mistaking the warmth in that whisper, familiarity, longing, recognition. I remember standing there with my palms pressed to the hood of my car, staring down the narrow dirt path that wound deeper into the woods, asking myself why the hell I felt like I'd been here before. I shouldn't have. I'd never been to Willow's End. Not in this life, at least. But the calm that settled into my chest was the kind I used to feel when I'd walk into my childhood home after months away soft. Unannounced, comforting in a way, comfort shouldn't be in the middle of nowhere. So, like an idiot or a man who'd finally surrendered to the quiet voice inside him, I followed that dirt path until the trees parted and revealed a house. No, not a house, something older. Something that had wrapped itself in the shape of a home, the way grief wraps itself around memory. 3 floors tall, bay windows fogged from the inside, roof shingles weathered and sighing with age, the whole structure leaning forward just slightly, as if bending to greet me. And before I even stepped up onto the porch, the front door creaked open. By itself. I froze. No breeze, no footsteps, just the door yawning wide in an invitation that tasted a little too familiar on my tongue. Not this time, I muttered. Even though I didn't understand why I said it, and I should have turned back, I know that now. But something in the doorway hummed, deep and low and warm. Almost like a voice. Gentle, pleading, relieved, as if the house itself had been holding its breath waiting for me, and like a man who had long stopped trusting his instincts. I stepped inside. The smell hit me first. Cedarwood, old books, and something else, strawberry shampoo, the kind my daughter used when she was little. But that didn't make sense. I didn't have a daughter. At least I didn't think I did. The memories in my head had been feeling like wet paper lately, fragile and tearing whenever I touched them too hard. My therapist said it was stress. My heart said it was something else. Something missing. Something stolen. And here in this house, that missing piece pressed against me so heavily, I had to grip the banister to keep myself steady. The lights flickered to life without me touching a switch. A hallway stretched before me, wallpaper peeling in long strips. Framed photos crooked on the walls, each one containing blurred figures whose faces I couldn't quite make out. But the strangest part, the part that made my stomach flip, was a door at the end of the hall. A white wooden door with a brass nameplate screwed into its surface. I squinted at the letters, trying to make them out through the dust and grime. And when I wiped my thumb across the metal, the name revealed itself like a wound reopening. Robin. I staggered back. Breath knocked from my lungs. That wasn't possible. This wasn't my house. This wasn't my life. But the door? The door disagreed. It clicked open softly, like a dog lifting its head at the sound of its owner. Inside was a bedroom washed in dim orange light filtering through heavy curtains. The air felt warmer here, lived in, as if someone had been sleeping in the bed just moments before. Books lined the shelves. Poetry, mostly. The kind I used to read during darker nights long with a stack of journals on the desk. Not blank journals. Used ones. Filled ones. My fingers hovered above them, trembling. I opened the first journal to the first page. And what I saw nearly buckled my knees. My handwriting. I don't mean handwriting that resembled mine. I mean identical. The same looping R. The same slanted W words written by a version of myself who existed here before I arrived. The entry read, "If I forget again, please remember for me. Please tell me who I was." My heartbeat pounded so violently it echoed in my ears. A joke, I told myself. A delusion. Something left by the previous owner. But the next line stripped every excuse away. "Robin, when you come back, don't trust the silence. It's not empty. It listens." I snapped the journal shut. The house groaned, wooden beams shifting like bones adjusting themselves. And then the whisper returned. Not from behind me. Not from another room. From everywhere at once, like breath moving through the walls. Welcome home. I spun around, chest tight. Who's there? The whisper didn't respond with words this time. Instead, the curtains lifted, though no wind blew. The bed dipped as if someone sat on its edge. Across the room, the mirror fogged over, and a message wrote itself onto the glass with invisible fingers. Look. I didn't want to. God, I didn't want to. But my body moved anyway, compelled by something older and heavier than fear. When I looked into the mirror, I expected my reflection. But what stared back at me wasn't just me. It was another version of myself, tired, eyes hollow. Older by years I hadn't lived, yet standing in a hallway I recognized instantly this house. But decayed, collapsing, burning from the inside. And behind that version of me, shape loomed, tall, twisted, a silhouette made of old memories sharpened into teeth. I stumbled back. The mirror shattered into 1,000 glittering pieces that dissolved before they hit the floor. The house shuddered like it was in pain. The floorboards under me pulsed once, twice. A heartbeat. A heartbeat. A heartbeat, I whispered. What are you? The house answered gently, lovingly, heartbreakingly. Your memory. Before I could process the words, the lights flickered violently. Somewhere downstairs, a door slammed hard enough to shake dust from the ceiling. Footsteps, heavy, dragging, uneven, moved across the first floor, approaching the stairs with agonizing slowness. And then the house whispered again, but this time not with warmth. This time with urgency. Robin, don't let it see you yet. Let what see me. Silence. Then the creak of the first stair. Then the second. Then a wet, rattling breath drifting upward. I backed away from the door as the house trembled around me, as if bracing for impact, as if it feared the thing climbing the stairs. I grabbed the journal, my fingers smudging the ink on its cover. The footsteps kept coming, closer, closer, until they stopped right outside the room door. The house whispered one final warning, trembling through the floorboards. Don't open it. Not again. But the doorknob turned anyway, slowly, deliberately, and as the door cracked open, revealing only darkness, a voice, my voice. Wrong spoke from the other side. Robin. You forgot me? The moment the door creaked open, and that warped, hollow version of my own voice whispered, Robin, you forgot me. Something primal inside me recoiled so violently that I stumbled backward and nearly crashed into the desk, gripping the edge so hard my knuckles whitened. Because the timbre of that voice wasn't just similar to mine, it carried the exact emotional fractures. The same trembling sadness I heard in myself on nights when I stood in the bathroom, mere trying to recognize the man staring back. Except in this voice, everything was amplified, the pain sharpened, the regret thickened, until it felt like breathing syrup. The door opened wider, slow and deliberate, and though every instinct in my body screamed not to look, to shut my eyes until the world dimmed into nothing, I forced myself to turn, to face whatever memory or nightmare stood waiting in the crack. But there was nothing there. Only darkness so absolute it looked physical, like a cut in the fabric of the world. And then a hand emerged from that darkness. Not monstrous, not skeletal. A human hand? My hand. But pale, trembling, bruised with shadows, reaching toward me as if desperate for warmth. You left me, the voice whispered again, and this time it broke. The way a child's voice breaks when crying becomes begging. Something inside my chest constricted sharply. A memory surfacing not like a gentle tide, but like a body being dragged from deep water, a night of rain. Me clutching something small against my chest. Running through a hallway of this house, or a house like it, while something roared behind me. A door slammed. A lock clicked, and someone on the other side whispered, Don't forget me, Daddy. The memory hit me so hard my knees buckled. Daddy, that word. That impossible word. I don't have a child, I whispered, even though my voice trembled with a doubt that curdled my stomach. The hand retreated into the darkness, and the door slammed shut with a violent force that shook dust from the ceiling. The house groaned, wood bending like ribs under pressure. The lights flickered. The temperature dropped so suddenly that my breath turned to vapor. Behind the bedroom window, the forest outside swayed even though there was no wind. And somewhere deep within the walls, that warm whisper from before returned. But now it quivered with fear instead of comfort. You're remembering too fast. I pressed my palm against the bedroom door. Feeling the faint thrum of something alive on the other side, my voice cracked. Who was that? The house didn't answer. Instead, the journal on the desk slid open by itself to a page filled with jagged handwriting that looked rushed, panicked, almost clawed. If you hear him, right, it means the house is bleeding again. Stop remembering. Stop opening doors. Every memory feeds him. I stepped back from the desk, heart pounding, because the word him echoed in my skull, not because it was familiar, but because it carried weight, meaning history. A history I'd severed from myself. Suddenly footsteps erupted downstairs, fast, frantic. Barefoot slaps against old wood, and the house trembled as something ran across the floorboards. Closer, closer, until the sound stopped directly beneath my feet. Silence, then 3 slow knocks from below, deliberate. Rhythmic traveling upward through the bones of the house. The knocks ascended the staircase step by step, like a countdown. Step 1 knock. Step 2 knock. Step 3 knock. By the 10th step, the knocks had become heavier, louder, something striking with the weight of grief. The bedroom door handle twisted again. No, the house whispered sharply. Robin, he's not ready. And neither are you. I need answers, I whispered back. You need to survive. The doorknob turned fully. I braced myself. The door swung inward, and nothing stood there. Just the hallway, empty but wrong, stretched longer than before, lined with doors that hadn't existed when I arrived. Each door bore a brass nameplate engraved with a name I didn't recognize, yet each name sent a ripple of dread through me. Marla, Peter, Jenna, Ruth, Eli. I stepped closer, caught in my throat. These weren't strangers. These were ghosts of half-memories. People I'd seen in dreams I always forgot upon waking. At the end of the hallway was one final door. Larger than the rest, darker, and on its nameplate gleamed a single word that made the room tilt beneath. My feet dashed Lily, my breath broke. My ribs tightened. That name, God, that name hit me like a grieving parent hearing their child's voice years after burial. I touched the door. It burned cold under my fingertips. The house whispered softer now, pleading, please, Robin, don't. But the voice inside Mitha, one that had stirred since the moment I entered Willow's End, pushed me forward. I need to know, I whispered. And I opened the door. Inside was a child's bedroom, small, warm, frozen in time. Pink blanket folded neatly on a twin bed. Drawings taped to the walls. Tick figures. Hearts. A tall man with messy hair holding hands with a small girl labeled me plus daddy. Toys scattered across the rug as if someone had been playing moments earlier. The air smelled of strawberry shampoo. My knees gave out. My hands shook violently as I picked up a small stuffed rabbit from the floor. Its fur was matted, worn from years of hugging. A tag on its ear read, "Property of Lily," and the truth struck me with horrifying clarity. I did have a daughter, and I lost her. No, I hid her. Lily, I whispered, mouth trembling. Oh God, Lily. The walls trembled. The temperature dropped again. The stuffed rabbit fell from my hands as a sob tore from my chest. Grief flooded me so violently, I slammed both palms against the floor to stay upright. My body shook. My vision blurred. Memories ravaged me like a storm breaking through rotten doors. Lily laughing in the backyard as fireflies blinked around her. Lily sleeping against my chest during storms. Lily clutching this exact stuffed rabbit when shadows moved across her bedroom wall. In the house, this house breathing with us, watching us. Warning us, then darker memories, ones I'd buried deeper than bone. A night of screams. A shadow with teeth made of broken memories. Me lifting Lily into my arms and running. Her crying, "Daddy, don't let it take me," and me locking her in this room. Her pounding on the door, whispering through sobs, "Daddy, don't forget me." And then silence. A silence I carved into myself, because remembering hurt more than dying. I collapsed forward, clutching the carpet. What happened to her? I screamed. Where is she? The house groaned, the floorboards warping under a force neither physical nor natural. A voice, soft, fragile, heartbreakingly familiar, drifted from the closet. "Daddy, I'm still here." I froze. Breath caught in my lungs. Hands trembling violently, the closet door quivered. Something pressed against the wood from inside. Small, human. The handle turned. No. The house whispered desperately. "She's not whole. You're not ready." But the door creaked open anyway. A small silhouette stood inside. A little girl, head tilted, clutching the stuffed rabbit I'd dropped only moments ago. "Lily," I whispered. She stepped forward into the dim light. Her face flickered one moment clear and beautiful. The next moment fractured like a photograph folded too many times. "Daddy," she whispered, voice trembling with longing and fear. "Why did you forget me?" I reached out instinctively, but the house roared, every wall shaking violently. "Robin, note, she's not alone." The floor split open behind Lily. A torrent of black, writhing shadow burst upward teeth. Screams, memories, the thing I had fought before. The thing that wanted her. The thing that wanted me. It lunged forward, pulling the room into darkness. Swallowing her silhouette. "Give her back," it screamed from every direction at once. Lily reached for me with tiny, shaking hands as she was, dragged backward into the shadow. "Daddy, help. Me, don't forget me again." I lunged toward her, reaching, screaming. But the floor collapsed completely beneath us, and the last thing I saw before the darkness consumed everything was Lily's tear-filled eyes staring straight into mine, whispering, "Please remember me this time."